How the hell are you guys? It's time for another Cosmonarchy cast. We are getting into Acropolis number 2 Gauntlet Stage B for a change. I know I said earlier at the end of the last cast that we'd be back to regularly scheduled programming, but actually there were a couple of really interesting upper matches before the qualification series that, of course, we are just contractually obligated to cast on this channel. So I wanted to take a look at some of these because I think they will be pretty interesting. And we start off with Art of Turtle, the favorite #1 seed in Gauntlet Stage B, returning to form and almost getting to those very, very acclaimed qualification series before being felled in a 3-game best of 3, in the final hurdle, before the final hurdle, if you will, by none other than Aud64, who did go on to qualify to Gauntlet Stage, through Gauntlet Stage A to the Battlement Stage. That being said, he is going to be going up against a fellow Zerg player in Louie. I'm not sure how to pronounce that guy's name. I'm going to say Looeye. He's a cool guy, though. His first player versus player matches were playing against Arbuz Budesh, and I swear to God he could have won that series 2-0 if he had better game sense. Since then, he's been grinding a lot. Let's see if he can take it to the man who, like I said, is my pick, my #1 pick for getting through in the upper bracket here. So Looeye has already defeated Dead Infested 2-0 to get to this point in the series. He's already warmed up with some ZVP. Let's see what he does in the mirror. We've got our maps here on your screens. Decapitation, banned by Art of Turtle. Rage Slave, banned by Looeye. Muspelheim and Genesis Y, our first 2 map picks, and if we need that decider, it will be Near Impact, following the ban of Check Stealer and Spinal Tap. Very funny to see a Zerg banning Check Stealer, but you know what? I get it, because it's a Zerg mirror. Your opponent is Zerg. Zerg is really, really good on that map. So, you guys might be familiar with Kickback Check Stealer as a map based on that. So, it would stand to reason that even in Cosmonarchy, an opposite wacky world, yeah, you'd probably end up getting some of that. Let's get into our first match here with Art of Turtle, being the Teal Zerg in the bottom left of Muspelheim, a map by Veek7. Looeye is here in the top right as, what color is this anyway? It's, it must be like, I want to say vivid orange. Oh, fuck. It was the one time I don't guess electric orange, it's electric orange. All right. On Zerg, at least, it looks more like a brown. I'll remember that. So Muspelheim, very famous for having these neutral iron foundries that you can go ahead and infest if you're a Zerg player, by the way. But otherwise, you blow it up so that you can access this back base. Obviously, you can just make an Ovaleth instead if you're interested in building out some kind of transport-oriented play. We'll see if, who does what. But Art of Turtle already going for the play into the pool, while Looeye going for the Larvosk opener. And looks like he wants to stay harvesting gas a little bit here for longer, so we're going to see how far he intends to go with that. But I'm very interested in seeing what he wants to make happen here. Is he just going to go straight into another pool after the... No, it's... Okay, yeah, pool after the Kagrant, but this build looks a little bit like maybe he could have done that a touch faster, shall we say, a touch faster. But that being said, he'll still be harvesting Vespene as predicted. Art of Turtle gunning it to the top right. Couple of Zeths coming in here. Okay, he's going to have some Zethra-cores. Yes, they're not Zerglings anymore. They're Zethra-cores. Eventually, we'll have a new model for everything, guys. And then you guys won't complain as much that the names are different. Surely, right? Wink, wink, wink. Ah, the Proxy Kagrant. A bold move. What is AOT going to do about this? Or what is Looeye going to do about this? He's going to start heckling it. Larvos complete, but the pool is not done. Remember, this could be a very fast game 1. You got the 4 pairs of Zeths coming out here. Remember, I did comment earlier that I felt like the build from Looeye wasn't necessarily the best. He's going to make 3 pairs of his own Zeths. It is going to take some time to do that. And meanwhile, the Zeths from AOT are here, going immediately after those eggs. Oh, decollided by another one. They're going to try to bring down that egg before it can hatch. Now turning to fight the workers. You can see just how fast the Zethra-cores actually do punish that. Here come the Zeths from Looeye. He's going to go ahead. And you know what? His first match versus Arbuz Budesh was kind of similar to this in that there was some proxy shenanigans inside his natural. So this must feel very familiar somehow, just getting absolutely shellacked by that. He's going to use his Quasilisks, a little bit of range there, but it feels like, he's going to need to somehow build some more Zeths in the meanwhile. He does still have a worker advantage despite losing, 3 workers so far? That's only 1, though, and AOT is building an expansion down there in his natural. We can see that on the minimap. And the production tab up there as well. Many pairs of Quasilisks are going to be trying to bust this. It does have 1 armor, effective armor versus the Quas, because the Quas has 1 armor pen. So you know, it'll take a while here, but the pool is not really going to die anytime soon, it feels like. So I think actually we should be able to see looeye bust this. He's going to go ahead and clear it. Now he can fall back and just kill the Zets. A little bit more micro would have saved more of his quads, but that is a hold from him. Now, does he immediately go into an attack? In which case, AOT might need to invest a lot of his workers into static defense, as you can see him doing now, trying to transition out of that. There are a couple of Zets coming here for looeye as he builds another Kagran. He's got 300 Vespian gas. He can make 2 Larvosks without really worrying about harvesting any more Vespian, and we'll see if he wants to do something exactly like that or not. And, you know, these Kagrans are so defensive, you could just walk right up here and start heckling the main base and ignore the static defense entirely, which looeye might decide to do as he pops in here. Now, the Quads are going to try to gatekeep that, but does AOT have what it takes to hold this force? I mean, this is a much stronger force when it comes to the military here. And another Larvosk being mutated right now for looeye. He is going for it. He's going after it, man. I love what I'm seeing so far. Okay, he's resilient. He's not going to be shaken. He's not going to be perturbed. All right, 9 Zethicors, 8 Quasilisks. We've got a couple more coming in. Okay, it'll be 8 and 11. Can he actually force his way up here? There's 3 pairs of Quas being made. There's a Hydrith Den being made. I feel like looeye has an opportunity to maybe charge forward, but it would be kind of a risky move. And he goes for the Vornath, harvesting Vespian again as well. That kind of makes me feel like what he wants to do might actually involve Nathrakors. Now, he sees the double Circuit right now. Some of his units getting heckled a little bit. He's going to go after some of the workers. Remember, this is ZBZ. Worker kills are pretty significant. Not quite able to stick it out and kill that worker there. Good pullback from AOT to save that bad boy. What are we going to see from looeye? He doesn't really know what the worker count is actually looking like, but he actually is ahead in workers. He's making a bunch now. Admittedly, there's more gas income that is up for grabs here from AOT. Certainly more efficiency on the workers. All right, the Vornath is complete. And we have 5 pairs of Zethicors immediately made. Another Kagrant made as looeye returns to his ramp. 14 Quasilisks for Art of Turtle have punched their ticket to the natural of looeye. We'll see if they want to try to go up that ramp. There's a lot of Zeths here. And a circuit is being made by that ramp as well. So I don't think that AOT will be able to bust this. And now 3 pairs of Nathrakors are in production. I feel like this is actually going to be another Larvosk here, the one in the back. It could conceivably be something else. But, you know, once again, getting that worker advantage. Do we have any anti-air over here? Vornath now being mutated by AOT. Oh my god. No gas being harvested from him at all. He's making Iziracors instead, hopefully trying to bust up. He does have a bunch of Hydras, right? He does have 6 Hydras, but is that going to be enough? A second circuit, that makes it even less likely, for my money, that AOT will be able to bust this. But he could surprise me. He does have a large number of units. And you know what? As long as he muscles up this ramp, you know, he can kind of take a better engagement versus the circuits anytime he wants to. More units pouring out. Iziracors, Zethicors. Okay, this is absolutely going to be a lot easier for AOT to break if he waits for all those Zets to flood in. He's not waiting, though. He's not waiting. This could be an opportunity for looeye to maybe do some hemorrhaging here. He's not actually attacking with the Zethicors, though. Feels like he might want to try to just dive over there. Waiting for some of his Nathrakors to hatch up. We do have the Iziracors coming in, which do have that bounce attack. Remember, they're much better at dealing with some of these spread units, but now here come the Zets. And I feel like AOT has found the right time where most of the Nathrakors for looeye were not in position to help out. That is almost certainly going to be it for the game. There's just not really much that can be done now. I mean, sure, you're going to kill the workers on the other side, but you've lost almost everything and you don't have any production structures. There's no possible hope for you to, to do too much here. You can see the burrow is there. GG has to be called. looeye makes it close, but that's it. And there we have it. Game number 1 going the way of Art of Turtle. Man, I knew I was going to have to be on the ball when it came to observing all these things and jumping around and bouncing around and keeping tabs on stuff. I hope you guys are excited because we've got at least one more game coming up here. And honestly, these two are making it pretty fun. Are we going to be out of here in like 15 minutes, guys? I mean, you guys know the YouTube video length and I don't. So maybe we're in for a banger. Let's find out. Straight into Genesis Y, and we've got a pretty close set of tones here. looeye once again rocking electric orange, seems to be his color. Fun fact, if those of you who have played Inconsummate or have heard of Inconsummate, that is a game that, or a campaign rather, for Starcraft 1 that I made back in 2017. And electric orange was the color that I had chosen. This color is the Inconsummate hero color. I hard-coded that color into the graphics for the homies for the heroes. All right, AOT over here as I'm just gonna go ahead and say this is the red Zerg. Okay, there we go. All right, so we do have the colors. We have gotten the color guess going. I mean, I flubbed Looeye's color, and now I know he's just got that as his preferred color or whatever. Both players going for the Larvosk opener here. You can tell by the gas and the Kagran opener. We are going to see a pool following that if all holds. It looks like AOT might have actually... yeah, it looks like he cut a worker to afford this a little bit faster, and he's scouting. That is not the case for Looeye, who is... continuing full-blown worker production. Lurker production. That's not even a unit anymore. It's the Likizalisk, actually. Continuing worker production the whole way through. So delaying his pool by quite a bit of time. Only now going to be cutting. No, not even now going to be cutting. And, of course, continuing to harvest gas. So maybe he's going to go for the Hydrith? But is it actually going to be a pool? I mean, he has the ability to make either one. It will be a Hydrith opener. Very interesting. Okay, so the Hydrith opener will take a little bit more time to take shape, and your unit count is going to be less significant. He is still harvesting Vespine, so we know he wants to go for some Hydras, but it could actually be gas for another Larvosk follow-up, and then go straight into Iziracors. Now, this will be scouted by his opponent. You can see him revealing the wall assist biotic bastions over there. Basically just a late-game Terran add-on. You can't actually use them, unlike the Iron Foundries on Muspelheim. And as a result, it is pretty easy for... it will be pretty easy, and as far as I can tell, for Mr. Looeye here to just kind of use that as a choke point later on. I assume he will be on the defensive with 5 pairs of Quasilisks being made. Holy moly. All right, AOT not playing around. Wants to dive for it. Now, Looeye has a lot of resources. I feel like this build order could probably be a little bit better optimized as a result of that, just looking at that. But he is going to go ahead and make 4 Iziracors very early on. Now, Iziracors do have 2 armor, so they do reduce the damage dealt by Quasilisks. Remember, Quasilisks have 1 armor pen. So similar to the Larvosk or to the Circuith, the Iziracor will do the same level of sort of reduction there. And by the way, I don't know who was beeping outside, but I hope they were beeping for ZVZ. Honk if you're horny. How about honk if you like ZVZ? If you're horny for ZVZ, I don't know. I guess some Zerg units don't really have horns, but they do have bones and spikes and stuff. Maybe that counts? I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? Post in the comments if you think Zerg have horns. Another Larvosk coming out for both players, actually. So looks like Looeye slightly ahead of the curve when it comes to that. Oh! Okay. It's an Iziracor drop. Now, Hamster, it did do this to the Night Fox. If you guys go back on the channel, there's like 48 minutes of Zerg looking in a mirror or something like that. It's basically just me, or no, and one Zerg to rule them all. I think it was part 2 of that series. But the mirror one, that's the one where we showed, oh man, what map was it? I think it was Maxium, vertical spawns, horizontal spawns, top left, top right. And Hamster on the top right was dropping the Night Fox top left with Iziracors a lot. This is something that does happen every now and then in this matchup. I do think when you look at that kind of a case, Iziracors did really, really well versus workers. And they also kind of held their own versus Quas. Again, because of some of the armor-based interactions there. Now, Looeye's not going to wait for a follow-up drop. He only has the 1 Ovileth. So he is going to go ahead and walk up here. And he's taking his time to actually do the attack. This could be a bit executed a little bit better, but you can see he's immediately going to go ahead and cancel that mining, slow that stuff down. The Iziracors will get brought down by this number of Quas. They actually haven't gotten any kills just yet. Okay, it looks like they managed to kill like 2 Quas. They disrupt mining time a little bit. Remember, each Iziracor, I believe, is 100 minerals. Might be 125. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 100 minerals. And so as a result of that, he just spent 300 minerals plus the resource cost of the Ovileth, the opportunity cost of everything, to kill 50 minerals worth of Quas and obviously delay mining a little bit. I don't think it was that good. Remember, Zerg have passive regen, so it's not even like versus Terran or to some degree versus Protoss, where your worker harassment will soften up the workers for later. The Zerg don't care about that. But, you know, he scouted his opponent with it. If his opponent had been moving out at that time and there wasn't a reinforcement set of Quas or whatever, yeah, that could have actually done a pretty big number on him. I don't know what he just did. I think he attacked his own unit somehow. That being said, Looeye is going to be dealing with Nathrakors from AOT. One base from the Zerg player that is favored to take the series, that is up 1-0 in the series right now. That's AOT, of course, the famous name that everybody knows. But who the hell is Looeye? Well, maybe he can prove himself here. He's playing an interesting style, I will say. Adding the pool much later. Going straight for that den. I think I saw, it was Jack Yelansky versus Toyota Miguel. I saw a game there where Jack went for Zorka's Shroud opener, and I really could not believe that game went his way at the end of the day, because that really should never win. But, you know, making 3 pairs of Hydras, or 3 Hydras, I should say. There are 6 Nathrakors going to come in here, and the move out is going to come in as well with the Vorvs kind of meeting their maker when it comes to these Azera cores. Not ideal. Now, here come the worker deaths. It looks like 2 workers are going to get killed here, maybe a few more. No burrow from looeye. He doesn't really realize that actually if I burrow, they can't see me. Instead, trying to pull the Nather cores in. I don't know if that was worth it. I don't know if that was really the move that we wanted to see. The Ovoleth out here observing the Zerg army move out, courtesy of that vision there. And once again, more workers taking some damage. looeye going to start to fall behind his opponent because of all this worker harassment. Again, not burrowing, not resaturating. Now I'm going to go ahead and try to guard his positions, courtesy of the Nather cores. 7 pairs of Zethra cores, 2 more Azera cores. They had just hatched. The Zeths still in production. Azera cores are very, very good versus Naths overall. I know that some people will probably be typing in the comments right now, Pronago, anything that shoots back is good against Naths. But I would say in these more close fights that they're good versus Naths. Now, I don't really like this attack from AOT because he's kind of, I mean, he does have looeye kind of split up a lot, right? The Zeths are coming on in. They're going to start ripping shit, and the Kagrant was not destroyed. Workers were not killed during that period of time. And meanwhile, the Nather cores seem to have mostly been killed. Now, there is one Nather core with 20 health left. Obviously, there's going to be a resaturation attempt over here at some point. But looeye is just kind of gunning for it. He's got the superior army with the Hydras and the Azera cores. Would be helpful if the Azera cores were on the front line there, but that's okay. They kind of bait AOT in to try to attack some more. He has more units kind of linking up here in the middle of the map. Look at this, a flank of Azera cores and Zeths coming on in. They are actually going to occupy these Quas units and cut them off. That's actually a really big hit for looeye. And look at that. AOT actually GG's. Doesn't feel like he has enough to hold that. So I didn't catch what AOT was building behind that, but that is a very, very good result there for looeye to take AOT to 3 games. We got to see if he can actually finish the job, because honestly, I thought about that earlier too. You know, I do feel like that first game was pretty neck and neck, and there are opportunities for looeye to maybe try to hold if he had put his Kgrants in a better position on the ramp by Muspelheim. Like he spreads one Kgrant there, the Kgra with one of those Cesiants there, and then goes straight into the second and goes for that circuit hold and try to stop his opponent from muscling up through. And then maybe only had some of the Nather cores invested as opposed to all of them going across the map, since he was totally blind there is a very big risk. But in that game, he just kind of held, got his macro up. He did suffer some losses, but he just had superior macro, had superior larva production, and the natural just wasn't there for Art of Turtle. So we are going to go into game number 3 here. I look forward to seeing if this one is just as blazingly fast as the rest. Near Impact, our decider. A map by Jujic. Genesis Y by Biddy B, by the way. looeye, once again, rocking that electric orange in the top left. Clearly a preferred color. Now, Art of Turtle is down here in the bottom right, as I'm going to call this Midnight Green. There we go. So ZVZ continues. We get a nice little plethora of games here. A trio, a trinity, a Trinidad. Actually, Trinidad is just a place in the world. I don't think either of these guys have any ties to Trinidad. And AOT is, of course, again, still you gotta give him the favorite. You gotta give him the sauce. Neither player actually going for a pool first or for a gas first. So no Larvosk, no Den. It's going to be Expo first for both players. That's really funny to me. There is that stylistic difference where you can see AOT cutting workers. I think he might go for that hatch into pool. That's what it looks like to me he's doing. And meanwhile, obviously, looeye has just been making workers pretty much nonstop. He made 1 extra worker. But throughout the series, he has delayed his tech and his other structures and such so that he can go for the worker count advantage. And so that's what he's doing here as well. His pool is a little bit late as a result, but overall, I think he has a bit more money. So far, it seems like he's got that. He's got that in action. I do love that what I'm seeing overall, though. I love the disparity between these two players being so very particular, but also the fact that looeye decides to go Den first, the fact that he went Vornath first in the first game, and then AOT obviously copied him there to get the Vorvs out, both in the first and the second game. What's AOT's plan here? I mean, he's thinking, he's kind of gambling. He's like, okay, I'm gonna go macro because like my opponent's just taking me out. I really wonder how much AOT thinks about the, what would you describe it as, the I would want to know what his perspective is on like the psychology behind the games, right? Because I almost think of it like my opponent is the underdog. He knows he's the underdog. He just beat me and took us to game 3. Like he's gonna try something safe, conservative. He's not gonna like 6-pool me right now. That's sort of like a read that I would be trying to make here. And indeed, looeye is actually going to go for the blind Kagran. Neither player is scouting each other, mind you. They've both decided to go the same exact thing that the other went. And again, I did tell you guys looeye was grinding. He's a grinder. I think he's a Masters player in StarCraft 2, but F rank in StarCraft 1 apparently. But you know what? He's finding some success. Quaz out. I feel like that's going to definitely reduce the efficacy of these Zeths. And doing a little bit of trading over here. Looeye not quite fast enough on the reaction as he makes the circuit. That does end up finishing. And that will insulate looeye from a run-by of the Zeth variety. But looeye, he might be biting off a little bit more than he can chew here, trying to stand tall. Needs to micro with those Quaz, otherwise he will just get overwhelmed here. Couple more coming in. There's not really a threat of him totally losing, but AOT is up by 3 workers, soon to be 5 workers. Production rates pretty much remaining even right now. You've got the 2 hatch plus the larvas. You actually have more production for looeye, thinking about it, once these larvas complete. And now we're going to see the Electric Orange Zerg be adding a little bit more when it comes to... Oh. Found you. Production rate's obviously going to be favoring looeye, but the worker count is clearly still favoring AOT. So you got to watch out for that. AOT has put down a second pool. That is a mistake. Okay, he does catch it. I was going to say, there's no reason for that. Shroud coming for him. Okay. No gas being harvested. I think that might be for Zor use for the most part, right? He is harvesting gas from the main, but not the natural, and only from the main geyser. Going to go ahead and add more Kagrants as the Zeths fly on in here just to see what's going on. I would love to, if I'm in looeye's shoes, I would love to get a scout into the main. You can see a little bit late there from AOT, but he actually pulled a worker and the Zeths to see if he could block or an attempted run-by for that vision. A little bit too bad for looeye that he doesn't end up getting in there because now he doesn't know that the Shroud is about halfway complete. That would have been a very, very good scout for him. He's going to try to set up for a contain. Relative worker parity here. Again, AOT building more of those. See what more wants to be done here as AOT continues to produce additional Quasilisks. 3 pairs, then 6 pairs. Many more of those coming out from looeye, who's actually harvesting Vespene from the natural as well as the main. Will he be going for tier 2? What's he going to be planning on here? Definitely has a much better position when it comes to the Quasilisk count, but he doesn't really want a chance versus 3 circuits plus reinforcements, right? He is closer to his opponent's reinforcement point. We do have more Quas coming out here. If I'm looeye, I love taking a fight over here and actually attempting to fight back versus the enemy Quas. That being said, it does feel like maybe he's been whittled down a little bit prior to this fight. So it looks like AOT will eventually be able to break through. I think that a lot of that is just down to, like, not responding to the threat immediately. Going back to macro up, you know how it is. So, looeye is going to be going for something. We have his Droleth in position, in a cheeky position for a tech. He's going to go for the Shroud. No detection. And 3 Lakizilisks are being made. I say no detection. You really are going to need that if you want to prevent the Lakiz from just running in and smashing you. Especially since your opponent has the higher Quas count right now. They can afford to just muscle through. Spraith coming in the natural. Nothing in the main just yet. Oh, there it is. It's going to be eventually turned into a Spraith. Does have pretty good range, so you can afford to use that. Now, here comes the move out from AOT. He's coming in time with the 4 Lakiz, actually, that he's going to be making. He's just added 2 more to the tally in production. Takes about 30 seconds. There's a feature that at some point we really should try to muscle through and fix the implementation of, so that we can actually see the remaining seconds on the command card there when you select the unit that has a progress bar. I feel like that will be so useful, not just for replays, but also for players. All right, here we go. The Lake is going to go ahead and burrow, get a nice volley of spines there. But the triple circuit does take a lot to break, and the Lakers are not actually in this fight right now. That being said, looeye has finished his Shroud, but does not have the resources to turn into anything else. Now here comes the Lakiz. Remember, there is no detection. Looeye could get broken here. This is very, very dangerous for him. He has cleared out all of the Lakiz. He's pulling workers so that he can try to reveal those Lakiz. He's cleared out the Quas, but more reinforcements are coming, and the Ovalef is much too late. Now, even though AOT has half of the workers of looeye, that investment not going into military is clearly going to start running away from him. He has no Zethra to bring down the Zorius. It has so much armor, and now here comes the pain. The Lake is going to burrow, and they are going to attack the workers. But honestly, it would almost be better to attack the Larvosks here. Just cut the production. I don't see how looeye can move past this. He has so much Vespian, he was clearly saving up for tier 2. But as of right now, he just does not have the ability to mount a defense, and he will be overwhelmed. Another 7.5 or so minute game, but 2-1. The series goes to Art of Turtle, who moves on to that qualifying series. Well, I did say he was the favorite to make it through, and the record shows that I was correct about that. But honestly, it was really cool to see looeye in action, and I really am. I'm jazzed that he got a dub on the board. He will now be going up against Biddy B, another Zerg player, in the lower bracket for an elimination match. And then if he wins another series, assuming he wins versus Biddy B, whoever wins that series, they've got to win another series to get into the lower qualification set. We'll see how that goes. I'll keep you guys posted on all of that as it continues to evolve. But we'll be looking at another series between a Protoss we all know and love, Hapsea, and a Zerg that we all know and love, Jakulenski, coming up next. So stay tuned for that. And I will keep you all posted about, of course, our qualification series. You can follow us on the x.com platform, x.com/Cosmonarchy, if you want to see what's up with the announcements related to the tournament, and of course, getting posts whenever we post a Cosmonarchy cast over. That's always a good one, too. And other than that, yeah, shout out to anybody who donates to project development through the link in the bottom right. I do appreciate y'all, and I will continue to provide you with epic things. GG's.